CBD on a Victory Friday. Merely Beau Bishop with the future Hall of Famer Joe Thomas. Zenith Smith finished to help athletes pursue their game with confidence, designing helmets and protective gear for athletes' needs, wants, and demands of the sport. Learn more at zenith.com, zenith.com. There were a lot of stars last night, and a lot of, including a possum. Did you see this?
No, I didn't.
You didn't see this?
No.
So there was some possum loose in, like, I want to say section 101, Gibbs? The possum was loose? So the possum is loose. I don't know if somebody brought the possum in to the building or if the possum was just organically there. But you see a guy in a 99 jersey hauling around a possum by his tail, puts it in a box.
No.
They box the possum up, and then they take him out. Now, I don't want to deal with the possum. Have you seen it? That's not a good-looking animal.
They got some big teeth on them.
They
actually,
do.
and
I
don't
trust anything that's got a tail like that.
Well, it's just a big rat, really. I mean,
That's
I'm
right.
sorry if there's any possums out there listening and I've offended their family members.
Yeah,
but
you're right.
A possum is a pretty ugly creature, and they're
Yes.
kind of gnarly. I always think that they have disease. I don't know if that's
They
a
look
correct
filthy,
take,
don't they?
But I feel like, raccoons, you always worry they have rabies.
Yeah.
I'm like, I feel like a possum's got something
no
worse
doubt.
than rabies.
There's no doubt. Would never trust a possum with anything. Gibbs wants to now have a possum
Mascot.
as a mascot.
Let's go.
I told Gibbs, I said, how are you going to house a possum?
Yeah, right.
I don't even know how you go about that.
I don't think you can train him to run out of the tunnel like the dog.
Look at that thing. Joe's seeing it right now.
Holy crap.
It's not a small possum.
How about the guy that just lifts it up like it's
Yes.
nothing?
That
Is he an
guy's a
exterminator or at his part-time? Or what the heck? And he's
That
wearing,
guy's
what,
a
a
hero.
Robert Smith jersey? What, 99? Who is that?
Isn't that great?
Orpheus
So-
Roy jersey?
Is it a victory possum or is it a rally possum?
I just
Like,
want it
when
to be.
did they find the possum?
That's the question you need to ask. When did the possum
when did
show
the possum
itself?
show itself? And then did somebody bring the possum in? We couldn't get it through security. So the possum must have been there.
It could be trained to run around security. So
Oh my
he
God,
let
a
him
trained
out right
possum?
before he gave him his ticket and
Man,
then picked
I
him
love
up by
this
the
idea
bathroom.
already.
Gibbs just wants a possum in a cage.
I do.
Like, just
And here are your Cleveland
Moose?
Brown possums.
like Moose running around here. Moose
right,
and a
Moose.
possum running around. Moose would chase him. He'd like that.
Do you think Moose would get along with the possum? I feel like Moose is a pretty easygoing dog that him and a possum could get along pretty well.
I feel like they'd thrive together. I think
Don't see
I think
why
the
not.
possum. I think it'd be very
Let's
much.
do it.
I think it'd be very much like the old Bugs Bunny cartoon with Spike and the little dog, where the roles switch. And I think the possum would be the boss.
Yeah, I think so,
and
too.
bossing around Moose,
Yeah,
and
Moose-
Moose would kind of just be along for
Moose
the ride.
is pretty
I think.
easygoing.
Yeah, I think he just chills. Not easygoing was Baker last night, who was great. And this will be his game. This will be the Baker Mayfield game. It's how you remember it. By the way, the Browns just looked fantastic in the uniforms last night. I mean, those are beauties. I love the field. I love the stripes. I loved all of it. The whole look just looked great.
Yeah, I am a total hater of the color rush game, but the Browns, I think, are the only team that when I look at their color rush jerseys, I'm like, they look awesome.
Yeah.
They look really good.
They do.
That jersey combination was awesome. I'd like to see it maybe a little bit more often.
I think we can wear it 2 more times, and that's it because of NFL rules, because they're sticklers for stuff like this.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to get a couple more times the rest of the year, probably against AFC North opponents would be my guess. But this will be the Baker game. That's what it'll be. It's funny, we were talking about the color rush. I don't know if you realize this or not, probably not, but Baker Mayfield jerseys are basically out. Like, you can't get them anywhere. You can't get them
I want
online.
one.
You can't get them at the they're done. They're done. We got to get a new shipment. So get Nike on the phone. Get some new Baker jerseys coming. But this was what was stunning to me, Joe, from him, and I had high expectations for him, and I believed that he was who I thought he was. I thought he would be this type of quarterback. I thought what we saw in preseason was real. But what was surprising even to me was his ability in the pocket to be calm as chaos was around him. It was amazing how he bought time. There was a play in the third quarter where he went to his third receiver and pumped his second, and then finally hit the third. There was a play when he's rolling out, and I want to say was it Charles, where he calls him back.
Oh,
he
yeah.
calls him back.
Yep.
He keeps his eye, calls him back. Now they don't complete it,
Right.
but his eyes are always up, and ability to throw on the run with pace and accuracy. His ability behind the line of scrimmage was as high as expectations I had. That even exceeded that.
Yeah, he's not going to scramble the way Tyrod does. He's just not the athlete that Tyrod is. But what he is going to do is he's going to buy just enough time, and he throws really accurately on the run. that he's going to be able to buy some time, move around, and then find those small windows that a lot of times you have near the sidelines when you're going through that scramble drill, right? So they teach him when they're doing the scramble drill and Baker's running towards the sideline. Everyone wants to go towards the sideline and back towards the ball because that's where the windows are for Baker to be able to throw the ball where it's either our guy or nobody. And you saw it right there. And except just a little bit, Baker missed him on the sideline on that one throw.
Yeah.
But you could just see everybody working in unison, and that's really positive moving forward that, all right, Baker knows how to run the offense when things break down.
I wasn't a math guy. Didn't do well. I saved it for the very end when I was doing the Institution of Higher Learning. But how does 17 to 23, 200, how does that suit you? But then how does it make you feel if it's 20 of 23 with the 3 drops?
I was just going to say that. I was just going to say
that. I could
that.
interest you in,
Let's
sir?
not forget about a couple guys that don't usually drop the ball, dropped perfect passes from Baker that would have made that outing look even more fantastic.
20 of 23. He hit of 23 balls he threw, 20 were on target.
Mm-hmm.
I mean that's like Rodgers. I mean look, it's one game. He's going to have his bad game. It's going to come like he's a kid. That they're not all going to be like this. Yeah. But from a debut standpoint, it's all very real. I'll defer to you on this because you know, and I'm just some guy on the radio. Is everything that you saw last night real in terms of what he is?
I think so. I mean, there is nothing that tells us it shouldn't be, right? From what he did when he got in the game, just, okay, it's my turn. All right, where's my helmet? Let's go. This is my show. We're going to make this happen. Like, there was no panic. There was no, too much excitement. A lot of times, and I fell into this trap a lot when I was early in my career, all of a sudden it's your moment, and you're too excited.
Sure.
So you have a hard time kind of controlling your nerves and settling into the moment. You play with too much energy, and a lot of times as a quarterback, when you see that, the ball's either sailing high or you're getting happy feet in the pocket or you're scrambling too quickly. He had none of that. It looked like he was out there on a Friday walkthrough practice where he was just standing back there and firing it to the uncovered receiver. I mean, it was truly remarkable what he did, just playing with ice water in his veins.
The throw that he made, we all certainly remember the throw that he made to Jarvis with the incredible catch from Jarvis, which was, just probably ends up being the play of the game.
Yeah.
I mentioned the play on the last drive where it was at off air when you and I were talking about the play on the last drive where he put it right behind the linebacker's head before the safety.
Right.
It's on a third down.
Yep.
And in the view that's gone around the internet today, it's an all 22 view. You don't even there's nothing there.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's throwing a window open. Essentially, we've heard about throwing a guy open. He threw a window open.
Yeah. I grew up in Wisconsin in the 90s when Brett Favre was a rookie through his Super Bowl years. And I remember watching Brett Favre make those throws. Mm-hmm. And that's what made Brett so special. Is there was no window that was too small that he didn't think he could throw into. Mm-hmm. And that was the same thing you saw from Baker last night. There was nobody on that field who was going to cover somebody too close that he didn't think he could fit it in there. And he was also really smart about coverages and watching, like you mentioned that throw to Jarvis where he threw it over the defender who was face guarding him. Mm-hmm. As a quarterback, it takes a little bit to learn to have confidence when the defender is facing your receiver to be able to know that you can try to zip it in there with pace, and as long as the receiver goes up at the last minute to catch the ball, the ball's in the perfect spot, the defender can't turn around and make an interception on it. And that's a hard throw. Mm-hmm. And that was almost the turning point, I think, sort of when I think everyone on that team said, oh yeah, this is real. This guy has got it.
Yeah, and that's in the fourth quarter where you have to have a touchdown to win the game on third down.
Yeah, remarkable.
That's all that was. How about the throw that Antonio is going to be a great player, and they're going to have fun now. I mean, this is going to be a lot of fun with Antonio and
watching
Baker.
them grow together.
This is going to be a lot of fun. But the one that Antonio drops, I mean, it just plants the foot and throws it.
Yep.
And he puts it to a spot, and it just happens to be exactly where Antonio is going to be.
Yeah, he's going to be fun to watch. I can't wait to watch him next week.
Yeah, and I think one thing to understand, like there's been nothing official from the Browns in terms of the quarterback situation, and I think this has been some really misguided stuff on social media about what Hugh said last night at the press conference when he said, I got to watch some tape, and I think it needs to be addressed. The idea that it's not that Hugh needs to watch the tape. He knows what he saw. But you do not make a change on a press conference
Right.
to a captain of your team
Yep.
and the quarterback who's done everything that's been asked, been here
Oh,
at 5
yeah.
o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
I mean, Joe, there's a courtesy to it, right?
Absolutely. And I think what Hugh was doing, and I said this on NFL Network, just give him a break, right? Okay. First of all, there's a lot of emotion in that locker room, right? That's the first win in 600 days since, Christmas Eve of 2016. So we're a little bit excited here in the Cleveland Browns locker room. That's a hard question to put him on the spot and to have him have to say, like, yes, the guy that was our starting quarterback that got hurt, that is a captain and has done everything right for this franchise
Yeah.
and for this team. I'm not going to throw him under the bus, essentially, on a press conference when the whole world is watching after the game. We all know that Baker's going to start next week.
Yeah.
But just give him some time to make that announcement the proper way, to do it in a classy and professional manner. And I think Hugh did a nice job. And that, to me, the reason I think Hugh demands so much respect as a head coach is because he's willing to stand in front of that train and take the bullet.
Yeah.
Because it would have been easy for him to say, yeah, Tyrod didn't do a good enough job. Baker's our starter. But he wasn't going to do that to the player. And I think that's why the players in that locker room respect him and play hard for him. You saw last year, then the year before, 1 win 2 years ago, 0 wins last year, fighting their butts off till the end of the season for Hugh Jackson because they respected what he is as a man and as a head coach so much. And I think that's what he was doing after the game. It was not about what his eyes saw or anything like that. You're exactly right.
Yeah, no. I always thought one of the most remarkable things with you the last 2 years is as the records were what the records were, I didn't see a team quit.
No way.
Never.
And I've never been a part of that because, unfortunately, in 11 years of pro football, we were out of it a lot in the last few games of the season. And when Hugh was here, we never once had anybody that was quitting on this team, either emotionally or physically. I mean, they were still putting in the work week 17 like we were in week 1, and that's a testament to the coaching staff.
Yes, it is. I have a Possum update. Do you want it? It's from the internet.
Absolutely.
You want a Possum
It's
update?
from the internet. I love it.
It's from the internet, so it's got to be true. All right, Pop says, listen to this. Possums aren't vectors for rabies. Their body temperature doesn't allow for the infection. They also eat lots and lots of ticks. They are very helpful marsupials. We had possums all wrong.
Oh, man. I love a possum now. Gibbs was right all along.
Maybe
we need
Gibbs
a possum
had it.
around
I'm
here.
telling you.
Did you have it with this possum situation?
And PR has weighed in. Rob McBurnett
What's he
making it
got?
official. Rob McBrown's. It was humanely released outside First Energy Stadium by our stadium staff. It's quite Possum Bowl. It reached one of the Browns
God,
Bud
love
Light
it.
victory fridges in time to celebrate the win.
Rob.
God,
Come
bless
on,
him.
Rob.
Then
Where
there's
do you
Rob.
think that possum really flourishes down there on the lake? Right on the lakefront, I would think you would have a good time running around down
I
there.
don't know, but
Thought
really
they were just
take risks.
rats.
Do we think that was the mistake of the night then? If they're such helpful marsupials, don't you want them in your stadium?
want
I don't
more.
want any ticks crawling on me
No,
when
you don't
I'm
want
sitting
ticks.
enjoying Browns victories.
Yeah, you can't
So
have
maybe we should have put them back in the stadium.
I could use them out at my place. I'm gonna breed some possums up there. See what happens. They take care of
I've got
ticks.
some land. I
Yeah,
got
let's
some
let
tick
him run
issues.
amok. Let's let him run amok a little bit. Where I'm from has teamed up with the Cleveland Browns to give you a chance to win a prize package worth over $5,000, consisting of 6 lower-level club tickets with free food and beverage, including alcohol, a private Browns facility tour, 2 signed mini helmets, and a $500 Where I'm From gift card. To enter, visit promotionsclevelandbrowns.com. Again, promotions.clevelandbrowns.com. They've got a great Joe Thomas shirt. Lots of good Brown shirt going. Several Joe Thomas shirts. You got like 4 or 5. You got like a whole collection.
I got to go down there and check it out, man.
Yeah, you got.
I need some new shirts.
You got a lot of good ones. All right, listen. This is everybody's win. You've heard what Joe and I had to say. We want to hear what you have to say about it. What was your night like? What was your experience like? Do you believe in 6? 216-578-0850 is the number. We'll get to your calls coming up next. Beau Bishop, Joe Thomas, right here on CBD 850 WKNR.